right, what's up, everybody? This is Mike V. Usually you see Chris here on camera, but for the Claim Your Fame series, we have a special episode tonight. This is episode 10, so a little bit of a milestone here. I am here. I consider him a dear friend at this point. We've shared a lot about our NFT journey. He is Matt the Machine because he doesn't stop. This is the Toastmaster General, the OG ToastPunk, the founder of ToastPunk Genesis. Matt, how are you? How's Australia? And I hear you have some big news as of yesterday or so, right?
Well, every day is big news for us here at ToastPunk. We've got many things going on. Mike, hello, how are you? Nice to actually know you and finally be on your show. Obviously, 10 being earmarked to your series is great. Also, my daughter's turning 10, which is one of the original creators of ToastPunk as well. Nice. She's turning on the 2nd of May. So yeah, we've got a lot of things coming up. Absolutely, we've got massive things that happened just recently. One of the biggest things is we sold out our project, 10,000 Genesis NFTs, fully done, fully out there. And we did it in a way which is, I guess, quite special to the NFT space. Like, I think it's not done before. And I mean, the organization behind it, the behind the scenes work on it, and a few other things were a lot of energy and a lot of effort was put in time, a lot of planning, right? And I mean, the outcome of it, based on the last couple of days after getting all the distributions out, the fact that the community could stand together and stay strong, for sure. Holding their their NFTs, not releasing it out. I mean, there's like a very, very small percent of them that are trying to get liquid in them, which is always understandable in any NFT project. But out of the 10,000, it's safe to say that we've only got, it ranges, right? Because people are buying stuff from secondary right now. It ranges from like 55 NFTs to about 80 NFTs, and it goes down and up to reach the 1 ETH floor price target what we got. So it's quite amazing. Out of a 10,000 collection, massive amounts. The percentage of that is really, really small. So it gives a lot of hope, gives a lot of incentive for people to hold on to the NFTs, because they know that it's not not going to take long, and it's quite easy for someone to come in, an investor to come in on secondary and look at this and go, yep, I want to be part of this project, and pick up the bottom floor part, which we've done some calculations. It's not much, maybe around $30,000 or $40,000 So it's about 10 to 11 ETH only to actually get it to 1 ETH floor. So we know it's quite possible. We've got our 30-day road to 1 ETH plan, which is basically a concrete plan that we've put together with the community, which will stagger us in a first step 10 days to get us to a high level of where we are, possibly in the 1 ETH range already. Nice. And then the balance 20 days for it to stabilize at the 1 ETH price and also go up a bit more. The modeling we did is based on our analysts that came together and sat down and worked out based on community numbers, based on numbers outside, secondary sales input, the market, a few other things, and they predicted even a spike up to about the 3 ETH price on the 23rd day or 24th day or something like that. Obviously, all of that is analytics, all of that is modeling. Of course. Modeling is modeling. But I guess the importance is to make sure that when we do the modeling, that we have that attached to a plan, so that we know what we can achieve. And a lot of times, when you talk about projects, especially early on in our initial stages of the project, was how are we going to get a mint out? How are we going to get that? Once you've done the mint out, it's actually a lot of work behind the scenes as well, because right now you got to focus at the impact, the value, the utility you're going to give to your holders, right? Absolutely. So that's our focus right now. That's the stage we're in. That's one of the things. So one of the things is just purely with the mathematics, or not the tokenomics, but the mathematics of the floor and how we get that done. That's what we're focused at. The other thing is, and quite exciting, and I must say, this is probably the first time it's going to be publicly known on what we're going to do. We are thinking of, so obviously holders of ToastPunk Genesis NFTs get a early access into ToastPunk World, which is the major metaverse we're building.
We'll definitely talk about that in a little bit. for sure.
Absolutely. And they're going to get some Toast airdrops as well, which is part of the coin of ToastPunk World. However, we thought, that's in Q4 2022. That's brilliant. Okay. But we understand that people are, the people want, immediate sort of value propositions on something. Sure. They need to get something now. It's always
immediate
about
utility, right?
Exactly. So we've got a lot of other utility there. We've got the merch stuff and everything, but that's common to us. That's common things that we can provide. That's easy stuff that we can provide. We wanted to provide something which is of value. That's first and foremost. The second thing is to tie it with the vault mechanism that we've created with NFTX and our TPGen token. So the last couple of days, and probably for the next few more days, I'm going to spend more time behind the scenes to work with the game developers. We've got a gaming crew come on board, a new one as well. And we're probably going to release a racing game, like a racing game for ToastPunk Genesis holders. Okay.
Nice.
And the racing game is going to be pretty cool. It's actually going to be just some synopsis on it. It's not the full stretch yet. We still haven't finalized a few other things here and there.
Sure.
But it allows for holders to come in with their ToastPunk Genesis NFT and start off with one of the 10 characters as the car. Okay. Awesome. And they can either do single player mode or multiplayer mode, so play against other people or either play against AI and earn TPGen tokens, okay, by racing.
That's amazing.
For those that don't have ToastPunk Genesis NFTs themselves, they can still play the game. But when they come to the game, they gotta buy what you call game credit packs. Okay, game credit packs, and they use TPGen token to do that. So obviously that increases the value of the TPGen token, but at the same and also allows those stakers there gaining more APR in the vault.
Nice.
But it gives open access to anyone to come in and play the game as well. You don't have to own a ToastPunk Genesis NFT. You can buy those game credits. And then before you start the game, you can choose one of the 10 characters, but it's dependent on what is in the vault as well. So it's got a bit of a game sort of consistency of what's going on there. So if Tom Ape is not available in the vault, then you can't use him as a
that's
car.
Really cool. Gotcha.
And each race car has attributes. Okay, and I'll just give you the highlights of the attributes what we got. So you got like top speed, you got acceleration, you got handling, and you got strength. Okay. And obviously out of the 10 characters, they're all a little bit different based on, their look. Like Shreko is a big dude,
Sure.
He's going to have more strength, but less acceleration.
Yeah.
Pikapuko is going to be one of the fastest because he's really light and small, he's top speed. Really cool.
While you do that, Matt, let me pull up the ToastPunk website actually, because some people are familiar with it, right? So
we can show the characters. So you go down below, you keep going down below.
Yeah, we're gonna go down. So, and you see at the top, by the way, sold out community, right? Good stuff.
Sold out.
We'll go down, and we have here the art of the characters, right?
Yeah, correct. So if you look at our roadmap, right? Just go back to the roadmap. I'll show you something in our roadmap.
Yeah,
so
over here.
We've done everything in our roadmap: 0, 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%. The balance. So all that's done, the balance we got to do is this upgradable NFT airdrop, which we will do before the game release. So the game release is kind of like, if you keep going down a little bit more, keep going on, that's roadmap 2.0.
Gotcha.
So we are bringing roadmap 2.0 much faster, much quicker to people right now to get it done, basically. So we want to bring things much faster, much quicker for everyone.
Yeah, this is amazing. This is some alpha information, right? And you got the characters here. You got So it's Ashrab, Pikapuko, right?
Correct.
Mickey D. What is that? Pudako. Shreko.
So how they look in game is we're going to use the bread as the car. Okay, so the bread's going to look like the car, and then obviously the face are going to pop out an actual 3D character, and they're going to sit in the car like a proper, like a cart kind of thing. And there'll be 10 of them in total. So if you got an NFT that is, you got a Tom Ape, okay, you can probably use Tom Ape in the game, okay?
Nice.
But if you don't have Tom Ape as a Genesis NFT and you want to rent Tom Ape, as long as it's available in the vault, which highly unlikely it's going to be available in the vault.
That's right.
The vault
he's the rare one, right?
All the lower end stuff. So it's got that little bit of a, like, what I'm going to use, what I'm going to get, a bit of thinking there on how you're going to race, how you're going to play in the game. And the cool format of the game is this: we've got different tracks. The tracks are going to be like, so far we've got three, but we're gonna give up more. The first one is the kitchen. So you got the kitchen kind of track. So it's like in the kitchen, you're like you're gonna be going around the whole kitchen.
Gotcha.
Then you got the bedroom. Then you got the backyard and a few other things. So it's gonna be really like ToastPunk theme style kind of game.
So cool.
The graphics, the rendering, I'm using the best guys. Like it's not a cheap game. It's an expensive game to build, but I'm bringing everyone together quickly to get it done. So that we can deliver on more utility and more impact for the community. So, while they're holding the NFTs, they can have a bit of fun playing this car game. And from a name point of view, like I'm not solidified on the name yet, but
sure. We won't make you come up with a name on the spot. That's okay. But
we've got one of them came up with ToastPunk Genesis Racer Club, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Thing, and then there's others like ToastPunk Genesis Breadcrumbs. There's so many names out there. We haven't identified the actual name yet. As I said, this is the first time we're actually speaking about this to anyone else outside than our own community and our own OG guys.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that big news, And for those who are brand new to the project, if you could take like just 1 minute, because I know there's a lot to chat about. And I know there's a little bit of story on your daughter had some input, right, on
Absolutely.
this
That's how all the art started. First and foremost, this is the second collection of ToastPunk. Okay, the first collection, you can go to the homepage if you want up the
we
top.
We have that here.
Yeah, that is the original ToastPunk collection. We call it the OG. And how this art came about was, I'm a business person. I've got multiple startups. Well, I get into startup, I build them up, and then exit the companies and sell them out. And what we did, what I do is I'm super busy Monday to Saturday. So the only time I'm going to spend with my kids on the Sunday, and in these moments we spent with my kids waking up and making simple stuff in the kitchen, which is basically bread, cheese, and faces like that. And they love Roblox. So we got all that inspired from Roblox, the faces.
Gotcha.
We did that for many, many years before even NFT, before I knew about NFTs or anything else. That's our family tradition. We've been doing it for every single Sunday. And every Sunday is like, oh, what are we gonna make today? Of course, we're gonna make our our special toasties, okay? We call it. And one day my daughter came up to me and said, hey, Dad, you're in the web space, you're in the tech space. I got a company called Warp that we started up in 2020. Gotcha. And she goes, you're in the tech space. Do you know anything about NFTs? I'm like, I don't have a freaking clue. And this was like last year in June, July, right? And then she told me about this pixel whale that sold for a particular price. Bored Ape just launched only. Imagine that. Like it's like 0.08 Ethereum. Bored Ape back then. Don't even knew anything about it. Imagine
I think I was like a couple weeks shy of that. It was sold out. I know. And I didn't even know about OpenSea. So I was like, oh, I guess this thing is sold out. You didn't even know.
I know. I was like, oh no, I should have just anyway. Once I found out about what non-fungible tokens are and what impact they can do and what utilities you can add towards them and the technology use cases and everything else. I'm a tech person, right? So as soon as I knew about that, I said, we have to get involved in this space. And I spoke to my Warp team. And, for the first layer project, we thought, why don't we use a story that is true to what we are about and do that. And that went well. And then we amassed a huge following from that last year by going out and telling our story. And Genesis, ToastPunk Genesis is the second story, which is basically my daughter coming to me after we launched the ToastPunk. It was in December. She goes, actually, Dad, I was doing something else before, the Sunday time. I said, what were you doing? And then she goes, next Saturday, let's sit down and talk about it. And I'm like, cool. So Saturday I came up and she had everything ready with the brother on the table, like all the braids and everything else. And I was like, what is going on here? And she started making these characters. Okay. That's amazing. She goes, look at that. That's Mickey Mouse. That's Shrek. That's Ash Ketchum. That's Pikachu. I'm like, this is mind boggling. And then I looked at her. We had that moment where I looked at her and we looked at each other and she goes, Dad, you think what I'm thinking? I'm saying, I think I know what you're thinking. She goes, let's go big with this one here. So that's why we went with the 10,000 collection for ToastPunk Genesis. and you know, and did it public. You know, as you know, the OG side is very private kind of.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Kind of club, like it's a layered club. You got to get in and stuff like that. So yeah, this public version of it, I think went really well. You know.
Oh yeah, I'm curious.
It slow, it went up well, and then it just like.
I'm curious. You know, what was her reaction to the sellout? Right, she must be a proud creator.
She looked at it and she went, "No problem. I know you would have sold out like that.
Awesome.
I know what you do. I know what you do all the time." And she, like, full confidence. She was like, "No problem." And one of the car racing games was actually come up by her. Like,
that's
like,
so
you know,
great.
these are the things. The NFT space has managed to get me to work more closely to my kids, and the kids are the future, right?
That's amazing.
And their brains think they are in the games. They play the games. I don't play the games, right?
Mm-hmm.
I play some of the games. I play only FIFA, and back then before NFTs, not that anymore.
Yeah.
But they are the players of the games, and they are the future of the games. So when you ask them what is it about, like we talk almost every day on ToastPunk World. Like, what can we do about this concept here, this particular metaverse aspect of it? You know, what do the amusement parks do? What do we do here? And then she went about the game. Why don't you have an internal game within ToastPunk World, a car racing game based on the Genesis characters, then 10 cars and blah, blah, blah.
Perfect.
I'm like, okay, that can be a mini game, obviously, in ToastPunk World, obviously. Yeah. Where you have spectators walking around and watching it and stuff like that. But then at the same time, I thought, why don't we take that game out first, okay? Bring it as a mini game for the holders right now. So we don't have to wait to build the whole metaverse.
That's right.
We bring that game out. We focus on that because we've already got the core elements of what we want to do. So this would be like a teaser. This would be actually
it's almost like you know, the prelude to the game. I think that's so great. That's really good. And you know, you mentioned earlier the selling out piece that was very unique, right? In some sense, you know, I think there was something at the top here, the join the DYOR competition, right?
Correct.
So
correct.
Competition is over. So, but I want you to tell us, that's the most unique thing I've ever seen in the space. Super smart. I mean, also amazing. You know, I'm an educator. And so for me, thinking about how you did it with education is so great. So can you talk a little bit about the DYOR competition? Because
I think absolutely. I think that is critical. So part of our journey, this was a major milestone for us here. So we did the reverse. We did, instead of 10,000 having a whitelist up front, you know, building it up and then have a public sale, we did the public sale up front first, up to 5,500. Okay, we did that. We managed to do that in a couple of weeks, and the balance we reserved it for students. And what we wanted to do was, you know, how are we going to get to these students? Obviously, you know, it's you know, the mode of how we're going to get to them was like, okay, what do we do now? So we came up with an idea of having, based on our values of what we encourage people to do, which is doing their own research every time we come in a project. Okay. So we created this, well, before creating the video and the quiz and all of that, we actually got in touch with the universities that we related to in real life, such as RMIT, Melbourne University, Deakin, and a few others in Australia itself. And we managed to get a few meetings with quite high-level members of these universities. And we put together a work session on a ThinkPad session on how we're going to expand this full reach, okay? And we managed to get these connections out to get, based on crypto and based on certain faculties. So it was science, technology, engineering, mathematics, STEM, arts, commerce. We also added a bit of law to it as well, because there will be law requirements later on for crypto and all of that. So we added all these faculties, we added all these countries, and we managed to get hold of a network that to reach 600,000 students via email. So each person actually got an email, 600,000 students via this network, okay? And we thought, okay, you know, 600,000 students, they might not open it, they might not do whatever, we might not get 1,000, might not get a couple of thousand, whatever. When we ran that email campaign and that whole follow-up, you know, on Facebook ads and a few other things we did here and there, we managed to get 27,000 entries into the whole, which is massive. In 4 days, 27,000 entries out of 600,000. So, you know, when you look at a normal email open rates and a few other things, and the thing though was 27,000 managed to get in. But the after effect of that was crazy. It was like more and more people wanted to come in. They missed out. You know how students are. They don't open their email for 4 or 5 days.
That's right.
And it was just going berserk after that. And our Discord
That's
just
wild.
went crazy. You know, until today, I'm still getting emails and messages on my Twitter saying, I missed out. How do I get in? How do I get in? You know? So anyhow, even the process of a selection process of that 1,000 was via the means of our DYOR competition, which was they had to first and foremost watch a 6-minute video, 5-minute video on the project and NFTs and the learning curve on what we are. Then they have to answer a 30 quiz question, which was based on scores, multiple choice. We did that and we came to the first top 200. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we did another quiz again, just to throw it a spanner in the works again for the balance 800. Okay. To make it even more competitive in nature, which it became that so. But I think the layout and the format of how we did it encouraged all the students that, you know, it was about patience. It was about doing your actual research.
Doing actual research. Yeah. That's what I thought was amazing because, you know, if you are new to the space and you are not doing research on projects, I mean, you're going to be throwing your money into the wrong investments. Absolutely. You know, it's rug pull scam. It's crazy. And I'm like, wow, I was like this. And I, you know, even when I started, you know, I was cautious. I was doing some research, but you start really learning how to do that. Especially like I remember they were populating into your Discord, you know, filing in to look up information and everything like that. It's such a smart way to educate them about the space in the beginning. Right. You know,
we wanted to create a simplified version of a long case because when you do a DYOR yourself, you don't know what you actually DYOR. You actually don't know where to start. Okay?
Yeah.
So we formatted everything in a way where it was this how you started, this how you can do it. And then once you're in it, you learn along the way, and which is what people are doing today is what they're learning more and more. How does staking work? You know, how does TP-Gen tokens work? How does you know, how does a price rise? You know, how does secondary markets work? You know, many things. So it's a basis of understanding that you get in, and then after that, ask the right questions. And that trajectory is what we set people on. Instead of a trajectory of setting them on. Like the simplified version of what a lot of projects are doing is just go on Facebook, go on Instagram, go on TikTok, make a nice ad and say, jump into this project. You don't want to miss out. Pay only $200. It's going to be $3,000 in 2 days. Okay. That message in alone by itself is the wrong pathway if we're going to put people on. Okay?
Right.
So this was the whole plan. The whole idea was to get people on a pathway that is on a path that you know, you're gonna be careful. When you deal with projects, you're going to be careful when you invest into projects. You're going to be careful on how you participate in projects and be a holder in the project. You know, like the biggest issue we found in a lot of projects is people jump into the project. Doesn't matter who they are, okay? Because of what they're used to in project. They jump into the project. 2 days later, they're just tanking out of the project because nothing happens, or the floor price doesn't rise to 20x, okay? And it just get out of the project, okay? You want to have people to have that stronghold belief and that I guess that whole mentality, the diamond mentality.
Yeah, the diamond hands, right?
And if the community works together, it can be achieved. Like it's about the masses of people working together, holding the fort, okay, and pushing forward with it. And that's what I found with the other projects out there today. It doesn't matter, as I said, however they've come into the project, whether they did come in the intention of holding long term, they more than often will have that itchy moment of let's tank out, let's liquid out, you know, because there's another big project to get on, or there's another thing I want to jump on, or whatever it might be. Okay, this way we managed to cultivate a stronghold of a base. They're going to stick with us, okay, and even if we accomplish our goals in 30 days of 1 ETH, I can guarantee you they're going to stick again because they want the 1 ETH to go to 2 ETH, they want the 2 ETH to go to 5 ETH. They want to fight, and that's how big. I've reverse engineered how the big guys do it. Bored Ape, Yacht Clubs, Mutant Apes, Doodles, you know, all these bigger, the Cool Cats, and all of them. That's how they've done it. They managed to get their whole community to stay strong. So that's the intention of what we had with the whole competition. I think it worked out really well.
And you made it sound really easy in a few minutes, but we know like getting all the universities on board, all the red tape. You know what? I totally get it. So, but I think it's incredible because I see it too. I mean, it's such a strong community, and I know you're big about community. You know, I know it's one of the most important things for you is building the community. You know, the Discord feed had to be recreated. You know, there's always safety issues in Discords, right? And rebuilt the community and it's strong as ever. So I think that's been amazing. I want to talk a little bit about the Toast World too, a little bit, like sort of like what's us after the game. But you mentioned ToastPunk World, right? You've mentioned that in Twitter Spaces, for sure. And I know that's sort of end of the year, planning. But before that, there comes a Toast token you've talked about, right? And an ICO and all that. And I was wondering if you could kind of give a little rundown of that as well.
Sure. So ToastPunk World, in essence, if you want to summarize what it's going to be about, it's going to be a competitor, to Sandbox, Decentraland, and NFT Worlds. It's not going to be as, I guess, broken down as NFT Worlds. So if you look at NFT Worlds today, if you've heard of NFT Worlds out there, each of their compounds are broken up into little metaverses. What we're aiming to do with ToastPunk World, and that's why it's going to take, that's why it's a big project and it takes a long time, is we're going to attach the augmented reality portion to it, which is in essence, the map is the world. So the map is the actual play of the world, not a island off versions of different types of metaverses, but it's going to be the map of the world. That's to start with. The next thing is the main technology we're trying to get right, and perfect, is the bridging of 2D pixel and 3D NFTs into characters and assets into ToastPunk World. What we found with Decentraland, Axie again, all these others, is that when you jump into their world, you're bound by their assets. You're bound by whatever assets they want to create and have for you. What we want to do is provide a fluid motion of anyone jumping in with their favorite PFPs. A lot of people have favorite PFPs out there that they're not using. And they can't provide value for. So that to provide that value for the holder, that's one. The second thing is project owners. Project owners that have their own NFTs out there for their own holders. Other than providing the utility that they can provide through maybe building something in the NFT world or sandbox land or something like that, it's hard for them to get their holders to involve themselves into a bigger world, part of a bigger ecosystem. But that's what we're trying to achieve through that way, So they can come and embed themselves in our world in that sense. The Toast token, is, and these are the few things we're throwing right now. It's not solidified yet, and that's why the white paper, none of the tokenomics are out, because we want to make sure it's 100% correct first. One of the ideas, and once again, just dropping a bit of insider sort of stuff that's going on, is we're thinking of allowing for those project owners in particular, to have their own ERC20 or BEP20 or whatever token created in Toast World. So that gives their value. For example, if you're doing BOF, blockchain of fame, and say you want to create a token, BOF token, and you want to use that as the utility to charge the ticket prices to enter BOF museum in ToastPunk World, you can do that, because you lay it with Toast at the bottom, but BOF as the main utility token for your project holders. So the whole world can be like a combination of different tokens inside.
It's almost like different economies could come together.
It's basically an economy. It's driven, because our world is driven on jobs, businesses. It's a life simulation game. We want to not compound it just to one major Toast token. Like the Toast is the layer token. But we want to have projects to join and provide value for why they want to join. Like, why would BOF want to come in? Other than giving you guys value, is that now you can launch your own token within Toast World.
Interesting.
And you can provide that utility to your holders there. Same with someone else if they're interested to. Like no one can. It's not easy to launch a token. Like
that's right. No, it's crazy.
Bored Ape Yacht Club can launch Ape because they are Bored Ape Yacht Club. They've got this. They got the masses. They are they put it in line with their nice Yuga Labs acquisition of Lava Labs and all these other things, and they just bang, they hit it spot on. Not everyone can do that, right? And not everyone can actually create some sort of incentive for people to come and buy their tokens. So this way we are feeling that, if we're going to do a massive launch with ToastPunk World and you get it out there as a competitive sandbox, Decentraland, etc., what better way to do that with the push and the support from all these projects, collaborations that we're going to do with. They're going to jump into ToastPunk World. At the same time, all of us are going to go, let's go, let's go. And one full force push is bigger than one person pushing out there. So that's one of the things with the Toast token. That's why we have not fully come up with the full tokenomics and the white paper of it. We want to get that perfectly right. It's been like version 1, version 1 point something all the way to version 2.
For sure.
We want to get that perfectly spot on. And we are talking to a few different other, I guess, connections of ours as well with that, because it's obviously Ethereum blockchain we can build on, but there's also layer 2 we can build on. We can build on, like, for example, immutable layer. Okay.
Yes.
I did recently put a tweet out to the CEO of Immutable, James, who we are in touch with already. But there's a few behind the scenes things happening anyway with what's going on.
Yeah.
But we are patient. We want to just make sure that we get the right thing done. Something of interest with the Web3 space is that it's so new that that the rules are defined by what you want the rules to be. As long as ultimately your ultimate goal is the right things, like for us it's about providing the value back to the Web3 space. Okay. We will get value back from the tokens that we keep for ourselves, for example, over a vested period. But that will mean nothing if you don't help the holders and don't help the community grow.
Of course.
The investors get their sum back. So our focus has always been about community. It's always been about improving the Web3 space, and that's the values that we're always going to keep in touch with.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, no, I know. And the launching your own token, all that stuff. It's so new, but there's so many legalities and pieces to that. And I know in our area where we are, launching a token, there's security exchanges that you need to
exactly.
go
US
through.
has been
It's hard. So a platform
exactly.
where that's accepting all these other projects is a very sort of unique idea. It's amazing. I'm excited for that. I know we're hoping to be early settlers to get into have our attraction in there.
Exactly.
So that's really exciting.
Everyone who is part of ToastPunk projects right now, whether they know it or not, they are going to benefit big time. I'm telling you, it's going to be. It's going to be like the ape coin release back on them, and they're going to go, "What the hell? What did I do?"
I love it. Yeah,
and the ones that realize it, the ones that already realize it, good on them. That they know that's what's coming. The ones that don't realize it, then I'll still reward them. It doesn't matter. Like it's what is written in the rules. It is what it is. But if they I guess that's where the holding power is based on what you know and what you've studied and what you've done your research on.
That's right. Yeah.
Things like watching this video. If you don't watch this video, you might not know what I'm saying. And you might miss some things that I say on Spaces as well.
No, you're right. And there's so many.
Then
and you're right. Earlier, you said we were chatting. I don't know if this was on camera about the time difference and sleeping less hours, 4 hours, 3 hours a night, and because this is so global, right? It's so many people, in Discord, you have people from countries that are 12, 15 hours apart, who's trying to chat with each other. You make friends, and in order to hear everything and do the research, you sometimes got to be on a Twitter space in the middle of the night, right? So it's like it's incredible, So
it's funny, we had a Discord AMA a couple of days back, and we ran one. It was like 3.5 hours. It was like bang bang, every question answered. It was like staking. It was what's going on. Like it was good. Everything was done, and then our Discord just filled up again with a bunch of other people and go, when's the next AMA? I'm like, we just had one. Then it started asking the same question. I was like, okay, oh no, let's go.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I think I remember it because I couldn't. It was early in the morning. I'm like getting ready for work. I'm like, I can't join this space, But that's why I think recording some of these things, but also just figuring out the platform, Twitter Spaces are great, but they're still new. You have people who are always losing connection, and it's still a little bit of a new space. So I think in general, everyone I talk to, and you've said it, this space is still so early, right? There's still is such a new world for so many people. Most of my circle really don't they're not into NFTs. They don't really understand it, It
is a convoluted. To the outside world, NFTs is convoluted. Like it's people's standard perception on anything, right? If you don't know what it is, you're just going to relate to the most simplest fact of it.
Yeah.
That is a picture. That is a picture how is that worth 150
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like, they're gonna go, that's just a JPEG picture. Like,
Yeah,
that's why the people on the outside world that are not involved in NFTs, they're still gonna have that major, like, what the hell? That is
yeah.
just a
It's
picture,
crazy.
And
I try to explain it to some of my family, and once you do start explaining it, it starts to make sense, right? If you can explain that, oh well, this is like you're giving someone's holding on to something that has value, and you're giving the value to it to the community, and you're sort of treating it like a business, and it's a very different story. But so we've been going for a while. I do want to, you have really great advice all the time. You always bring a lot of insight. For people who are a lot of the newer projects we feature on this series on Claim Your Fame, and some of them are looking for advice, or what would you say? You got to give 2 or 3 key points to, let's say, a new project that's starting, who can get easily caught up in just hype and that kind of thing. What would you suggest to I guess hopefully their success
Sure. Recently I've given some advice to a few newer projects that have taken it and actually done well with it, so I'm going to use those examples. For example, when you come up with a size of a collection, if you're in the early stage and you still can decide to actually change your size and your price, think about that. Okay, think about what you're going to do there, because don't think that someone else, or you've seen someone else out there sell 10,000 or 5,000 or 8,000 at 0.1, that it can be done. Yes, of course it can be done, but you don't know what has happened behind the scenes to get that achievement. Okay,
sure.
So I would say relate the collection size and the price to your own, or to your own skill set or your own capabilities, so to speak. Okay, if your capabilities and budget is lower, then keep it as low as you can.
Sure.
Okay? Because that'll be better for you launching it and achieving what you want to achieve. Okay, the hardest thing to do is when you launch something and you don't mint out. I know it's always said out there that it's fine. And now obviously I can say it, but it is difficult. It's the struggle that is
difficult.
Real. Okay?
Absolutely.
Struggle is real, and daily you're gonna be grinding even more and more and more. So keep that as short as you can. That's my number 1 advice. The number 2 advice is communication. Okay, always remain open about what you're doing, and whether it's bad, whether it's good, whether it's new, whether it's exciting, whether it's whatever it might be. Keep the communication alive with the community. Okay, doesn't matter whether you're a small community or big community, just keep it alive, because they always want to hear from you. They don't want to hear from someone else or a third party about something else. They want to hear from you. Okay, so as a project creator and owner, always be there and communicate. I would say keep it active, keep it going, keep it transparent. Okay, and obviously the third thing is, when you're doing stuff, I would say think about if you are in the community's hands. Okay, if you are the community member, if you are the holder, if you're the person who's put up that money to invest or mint in that project, what would they want to expect and what do they want to see from you? Okay? Put them in your other hand, not vice versa. Like, you can direct the project, you can provide for the project, you can create the roadmap, the design, or whatever you want to do, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, your project is owned by the holders. Like right now, I don't own any of the NFTs. They're all owned by the holders.
That's right.
Okay? So the project is in the hands of the holders, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I can today say I don't want to do anything, and it's up to them what they want to do with it, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm going to provide for the project, all I can do is I can provide benefits and utility and value.
That's right.
And steer them in the right way, and make sure that that the community is tight knit, and providing that set of using the tools that we give them, using the value adds that we give them to move forward. So the third thing is focus at your community. And that's what, those are the 3 top things I would say.
I mean, those are so spot on, and it's similar to our experience and stuff that we learned. And I think 6 months, even if you look 6-7 months ago, there was this period where it was like project launch, minted out. It was crazy hype, right? And then the space started changing, and now even we follow projects very closely, right? Because we collaborate with a lot of projects, and now you see, all right, well, we're dropping our phase 1 of 500. and then that sells out, and then phase 2 is going to be 1,000, and and so now you see these like mini collections, right? With there's 3 different collections. That seems to be prevalent now everywhere, right? You see,
easier to do. It's more fragmented the market right now. Of course,
yeah, and you see so many large budget projects with 10,000 or and they mint 500, and then it's like, all right, well, we're gonna let's say we're burning everything, and we're calling it a day. You see that, and it's a lot of reactive because it's not the same space as it was 7-8 months ago. So no, that's really amazing information. Really awesome. I want to say thank you so much. I know you gave us some inside info, that maybe people didn't expect. I hope a lot of people can watch this and learn, right?
Well, if any of the community members are watching this, they will hear it from here as well. They already heard it from that day.
For sure.
Yeah, that's definitely, I sent out a tweet today. I said, sorry if I'm a bit quiet today. I got, a few things I'm working behind the scenes, which we've got a few more other meetings lined up.
For sure.
But yeah, it's just exciting because tomorrow we also start our 30-day road to 1 ETH campaign as well.
Awesome.
And yeah, there's lots of things going on, man.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll do a follow-up in 30 days and we'll see how it's going so far, right? Anyway, Matt, so great to see you. Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
We will talk soon for sure. Okay. I'll DM you, and good luck with the future of the project. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mike. We'll talk soon. Okay. Thank you.
Bye. I'll see you.
Thank you, my friend. See you.